Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge from the EV Geek Podcast. We're your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, and today, July 25th, 2025, we've got a handful of topics on our docket, such as Lucid has updated the Air for 2026, two automakers have gained access to the Tesla Supercharger network, Mercedes has cut pricing, and we've got a handful of other stories. So, without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, let's talk about our first topic of the night, which is Lucid has added a host of updates for the 2026 Air. So this week they announced the 2026 Air, and the luxury sedan gets a lot of improvements. For starters, the touring trim gets a range boost to the tune of 25 miles, thanks to new, denser battery cells. For 2026, all Airs get a stronger AC compressor, pulled straight from the Lucid Gravity. There's a new wheel design, if you care about that kind of thing. The Grand Touring trim now adds massaging, heated, and ventilated seats as standard. Dream Drive Pro, which is Lucid's top ADAS system, will be getting a hands-free ability, as well as automatic lane changes. All versions are now including a mobile EVSE, which previously cost $650. And all Lucid Airs, regardless of model year, gain access to the Tesla Supercharger network on July 31st with a pretty big caveat. Because the current V3/V3.5 Tesla Superchargers don't support high voltage charging, and the Lucid Air, has an almost 924 volt battery pack when full, the vehicle has to boost that charging voltage using onboard systems such as drive motor inverters, etc., meaning that on the current crop of Tesla Superchargers, the car will only be able to pull 50 kilowatts.
It's worse than a Kia.
Yeah, that's Chevy Bolt level right there.
Yeah, look at you. You were like one thing your Bolt and the Lucid have in common. Look at that.
The Bolt will do 54 on a Tesla Supercharger, actually. So
that thing is smoking.
Smoking fast.
And as the article says, hey, it's better than nothing. So yeah.
I guess, but anyway. Also a bit weird to me, the 2026 Air keeps its CCS port, even though the Gravity is native NACS.
None of these are made in. Are any of these made in America? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they all are. I think they all come out of Arizona.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were building over in Saudi now or not. So,
no, I think they all come out of Arizona.
So that means that shouldn't be. That is weird.
Yeah, who knows?
That doesn't make much sense. But
maybe they didn't put it NACS native because the Gravity, which is NACS native, charges way better on Tesla Superchargers because it has better boosting hardware. And since the Air charges so poorly on Tesla Superchargers, they wanted it to be CCS native for the chargers that can actually give it the power at once. I don't know.
That's weird. But yeah, I'm glad they're updating it. I'm sure you are too. But it got even any news on if there's a price increase with this?
Not that I saw.
And I'm looking at the article here now. It looks like the adapter costs $220. So the CCS, the NACS adapter.
And it looks like it is a Electron sourced adapter. And I don't know, would I pay $220 for an adapter that only enables 50 kilowatt charging on a car that otherwise charges pretty great?
So it does say here the rear wheel drive Air Pure's base is going to get $1,000 increase to $72,400. All wheel drive now starts at $81,400 for the all wheel touring. And the Grand Touring all-wheel drive starts at $116,400.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's not the most expensive.
Oh yeah, that's a Sapphire.
That's the 1234 tri-motor horsepower Sapphire, which is $250,000. That price didn't change. So those of you who were worried about it, that price didn't change. So
yeah. And the Sapphire is a monster of a car.
Yes. If anyone has one and would like us to review it, let us know. We would gladly do that for you.
I promise not to smoke the tires. I promise.
Ish. Fingers crossed.
All right, moving on. Honda and Acura have officially gained Supercharger access. So this week, these two automakers officially gained access to the Tesla Supercharger network for the Prologue and ZDX EV. Although, I mean, this doesn't really change much for its owners since these cars, been able to charge for a while because they're just Chevy Blazers and Cadillac Lyrics. And so if you just told the app you had a Blazer or a Lyric, it worked.
So what you're saying
Honda,
is if your Prologue identifies as a Lyric, it will charge?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, the Prologue would be the Blazer.
Blazer, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Anyway, Honda and Acura are also selling their NACS adapters for $225. The adapter appears to be a Honda badged Electron adapter.
I'm seeing a trend here, Sebastian, with adapters. Yes.
Currently, Honda/Acura owners will need to activate the Tesla charging sessions using the Tesla app. However, Honda has stated they are working on integrating it into the OEM apps, as well as working on adding plug-in charge capability. So, I mean, what you do? Welcome to the club that you've technically already been in,
Should have been in a long time ago when Blazer had access, so don't understand why this took so long.
So long for it to be official. Who knows?
Yep. That's odd. So,
but hey, welcome to the club.
We meet on Tuesdays. Yep.
Moving on. Rivian has begun adding NACS to its Rivian Adventure Network. So this week they launched their first NACS native RAN dispensers. Rivian Adventure Network, I'm just going to call it RAN from now on, at its Joshua Tree location. This comes fresh on the heels of the announcement/release of the 2026 R1 quads, which feature a native NACS port. The Joshua Tree location initially had 12 CCS dispensers, but now operates 8 CCS and 4 NACS. It is expected that the next locations to get the NACS treatment will be their charging outposts in Yosemite, as well as the Hamptons.
Ooh, the Hamptons. Nice.
So yeah,
it looks like this was due to the federal charging grants that they were able to do this money with. Those will be gone soon. So I'm glad they could get that in before those things went bye. So yeah, that's glad. I'm glad we're seeing that. We've seen some charge points. We have some here that changed to some NACS adapters too as well. So it just makes it a lot easier to charge. If you are a Tesla, you can charge on the RAN network now, or if you have a NACS port, you can now charge on the RAN network without having to use a bulky adapter.
Yeah, and this isn't surprising at all, considering they're selling vehicles with native NACS ports now. Of course, their own in-house charging brand is going to have a port that matches the vehicles they sell.
Yep.
Duh.
That's how it should be. But yeah.
Moving on. Mercedes is cutting EV pricing by up to $15,000. So Mercedes this week announced surprising price cuts for its U.S. market EVs for the 2026 model year, with some models cutting as much as $15,000 from the price. The vehicle seeing the largest drop in price is the EQS SUV, which now starts at $91,000, previously starting at $106,000. The EQS sedan sees a $4,000 cut down to $101 from $105, and both EQE variants now start at the same $61,000, down from the mid to high 70s. This news comes shortly after Mercedes-Benz announced plans that it would pause production for its U.S. market EVs at its Tuscaloosa, Alabama plant on September 1st, and there was no end date for the pause mentioned when they made this announcement. So get them while you can.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger story here, maybe, that we're hearing these stories that maybe Mercedes may not be making EVs and possibly selling EVs in the U.S. market anymore, since a lot of their models didn't qualify for the tax credit either. So it doesn't have to tax credit related, is it?
No.
Yeah.
But it could be tariff related, could be.
That's what I'm thinking. It's more tariff related than it is tax credit related, since a lot of the parts are coming from overseas.
Yeah, this is interesting to me though, because EQE SUV for $61,000, that ain't bad.
No, that's not bad. So,
of course, the German automakers nickel and dime you on options and whatnot. But 61,000 starting price versus like 79, 70, or it's like 76 or 79.
Yep.
That gives you a lot of room to add options.
It's a little bit easier pill to swallow. So yes.
Yes. Especially because EQE is a solid vehicle.
And which one did we do? The EQE?
Yep.
Yeah, we did the EQE, and it was a solid car. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's got a decent charge curve, pretty steady charge curve, I believe. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in a Mercedes EV for $60,000, this would probably be your time to get them.
Yep. All right, moving on. Subaru has announced its third EV. So Subaru late last week announced their third new EV, and honestly, I am hopeful that this will be the one that actually moves numbers for them. The new EV, known as the Subaru Uncharted, to me is more of what an electric Crosstrek should be. This new model is born out of Subaru's EV partnership with Toyota, like the Solterra and the upcoming Trailseeker model, and this model shares with the new Toyota CHR. The Uncharted, which happens to contain all the letters from CHR anyway, will be available in rare form for Subaru, both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive variants, with Subaru expecting the front-wheel drive variant to have over 300 miles of range from its 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which is shared with the Solterra and I believe the Trailseeker and BZ and whatever they're calling the big BZ. I don't remember. Already forgot.
Is it the Trail? No, I forgot. You're talking about Toyota, right?
Yep.
I slipped. I don't know. I don't remember that name either.
Anyway,
yep.
Is it like it's like Trail Hunter, isn't it?
Yep. Trail. This is no. It's up here in the article. It's the Trailseeker.
Trailseeker's the Subaru.
Yeah.
The new Toyota is the Trail. Hold on, we're gonna get there.
So yeah,
it's the Woodland.
Woodland.
BZ
yes.
Woodland.
And
there
that's
we go.
something to do with the forest. We knew.
Yeah. Anyway, the all-wheel drive variant of the Uncharted is expected to have 290 miles of range and 338 horsepower. The Uncharted will also be launching with a native NACS port on the front passenger side of the vehicle.
Okay.
Which should be a correct location, except it looks like in all the photos I've seen, the port is pretty far back.
Yeah, this photo here we don't see it.
Side.
We don't see it in this photo here, yeah.
And the charge door swings forward, so you'll have to get the cable around the gigantic charging door. We'll see how it works. Surely, Subaru tested this.
Surely they did.
Surely.
And don't call me Shirley. Yes, but yes.
DC fast charge speeds remain at a 150 kilowatt peak, and Subaru is expecting 10 to 80 to take roughly 30 minutes. On the interior, it looks very similar to what we've seen on the refreshed Solterra and BZ models. Sorry about that. With 2 wireless phone charging pads, the same Squircle design with the gauge cluster way up high, the newer updated navigation system that features on-route preconditioning as well as manual battery preconditioning. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. And so, yeah, this to me, though, of the 3 new Subarus, so the redesigned Solterra, the Trailseeker, and this one to me looks the best.
Yeah, and under 40,000, they're saying.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, look at the picture here. It looks like it's going to be built in Japan, which I believe we now have a tariff agreement with. So hopefully that doesn't cause any issues there. Look, about 25 cubic feet of storage. It looks like it's, I think here, 7 inches shorter than the Solterra. So yeah, it looks with the handles the way they are in the back there. It looks very CHR-ish. Mm-hmm. How you open up there by the window. So yeah, I like that color. I mean, yeah, this looks pretty cool. This looks like a Sebastian car to me.
We'll have to see once they start shipping the new Solterra and related vehicles. Did they actually listen and improve things like charge curves and charge repeatability and things like that?
The Solterra we drove wasn't bad. It just
I didn't mind it at all.
No, it was
and it didn't have good range.
Yeah, it did have good range, and the charge curve wasn't good. That was the only 2 things. But build wise, Toyota and Subaru are known to build good cars. So build wise, interior wise, it was not a bad car. And if you want to check it out, we have a whole review about the Solterra on our channel here. But yeah, I mean, it's if they could just figure out the charging curve, which 10 to 80% and 30.
It's about normal.
That's normal-ish. That's,
for now, in the U.S.
For now, in the U.S. Yep. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool. I like that orange, and this can't wait till these. When do they come out? Did you say?
Should be later this year, I believe.
Wow. So yes. So Toyota and Subaru stepping up their game. It only took forever for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and really the big win on this, which of course this is smaller than the Solterra, but even looking at the new Solterra, the big win is that range figure for
Yep.
and if they fix charge curve, it looks like charge peak is about the same. But if the charge curve is better, then that's not necessarily the worst thing ever. But 290 miles of range.
Yeah, I mean
300 miles of range.
That was the big
the old
win
car
whenever...
was like 220 was the old car.
Mm-hmm.
And from a decent sized battery pack, it was 220 miles of range. So yeah, hopefully that means they've made efficiency improvements and things like that really kind of nail in, like, hey, we actually figured this thing out.
Yeah, I mean that's we just recently drove some Audis, and that's one of the main improvements we saw from the old Audi was almost the 100-mile of range increase you got from the original Audis, and that's probably what we're seeing something here, almost 100 miles. So kudos to Subaru and Toyota for figuring it out, and hopefully these things sell well.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Tesla has confirmed more details about their new, cheaper models. On Tesla's earnings call this week, which I'm not going to delve too far into, but it didn't sound like that went awesome.
Was not good.
We did glean at least one important piece of info. And I'm not talking about how allegedly we will be doing coast-to-coast unsupervised FSD at the end of the year and the robotaxi service being available to 50% of the U.S. population or whatever else. I'm talking about their new, cheaper EV models.
And I'm calling BS on all that other stuff. But go ahead and talk about this new model.
As several EV journalists had previously expected and kind of what we've seen leaked out a little bit, and people have been on one side of the aisle have been very insistent that there indeed would be a smaller, new, cheaper model. CEO Elon Musk basically confirmed that Tesla's new, cheaper models would just be stripped down versions of their current cars. Specifically, he called out the Model Y. However, I would expect a stripped down Model 3 probably would come along as well.
Uh-huh.
And this lines up with what we've seen in other markets, such as in Mexico, there's now a new, cheaper Model 3 that features cloth seats. It doesn't have heated seats, doesn't have a heated steering wheel. The ambient lighting is now single color. It ditches the rear entertainment screen, etc., and is therefore around 50,000 pesos, so roughly $2,500 cheaper than the previous cheapest Model 3 you could get in Mexico.
I mean, if you're getting a $2,500 discount now on the Model 3, if that transfers over here, that's not much of a discount. I mean, that's...
Starts at $32,500 though, as long as tax credit stays for however long tax credit stays long.
That's not coming out by the time tax credit. I guarantee this car will not come out by the time the tax credits expire in September. So yeah.
Well, they're already building them for Mexico.
I'll bet you $1 that they don't come out. Everyone, I'll bet Sebastian $1 and a Dr. Pepper that these do not come out before the tax credits expire.
Nonetheless, who knows what kind of discount we might get in the U.S. market versus what they got in China. Or not China, Mexico. Golly, sorry, wrong cheap EV country. Yep. But nonetheless, I would expect to see, it's going to be a Model Y with cloth seats and maybe a worse sound system. Maybe if they start building their LFP packs here, it'll have a U.S. built LFP pack. I don't know. But this makes the most sense. We heard late last year that this new Unbox platform was not going to be the platform that these new cheap EV models are going to be based on. It sounds like that's probably only going to be used for the robotaxi or cybercab. Sorry, wrong term. Once those finally start being produced, different conversation. So, what other cars do they have? They're not going to make a cheap Model S or Model X. They've tried to make a cheap Cybertruck and it's still $70,000. What other options do they have? Model 3, Model Y. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they'd just come out with something new. I mean, come on now. Let's not strip down our cars and sell them for cheaper because you're still getting the same thing. I'm assuming these will be rear-wheel drive. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're not going to be all-wheel drive. I mean, I wish Tesla can do it. They're innovative. I mean, yes, their market shares drop. I think I've read reports where it could be as low as 45% maybe, either this year or next year, and you had GM just say their EV sales are up, they can hold maybe 15% of the market share coming up soon. So it's going to be an interesting next 12 to 18 months for Tesla to see what happens.
Yeah. And I hope they can figure out something so they don't get hit near as bad. Because, what was it? They were down 23% earnings were this quarter.
Yeah.
And that's while they can still sell regulatory credits.
Yep.
But isn't that going away?
With the potential, and I've read reports with the potential of next year, they'll be cash flow negative if things don't turn around. So
yeah, I hope they can get something to help spark some more consumer interest in their vehicles. Not saying competition is not a good thing. Don't get me wrong. We've driven a lot of the new EVs, and honestly, not that many of them I would say were bad.
No.
But that said, Tesla has its eggs in a lot of baskets now.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do believe in a lot of ways they're doing stuff in their cars that other people just haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
And I hope for the benefit of everyone, they continue to find a way to succeed, go back onto this kind of growth pattern. And it should ultimately be good for the EV market as a whole. Mm-hmm. Because their software is good. FSD, while still far from perfect, is miles better than what it was, I would say, even like a year ago.
Oh gosh, phantom braking
a year and a half ago.
Horrible, yes, and that's pretty much all gone now.
Well, depending.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like they still have a ton of stuff that they do, and they do super well. I said we weren't going to talk about the earnings call that much, but here we are.
Here we are. We're talking about it.
Did you see what one of the only divisions they had that was actually grew this quarter?
Which was that? Was it home energy?
It was supercharging and services.
Really?
Yep. So opening up the network to other automakers seems to be bringing in more money through charging. Who'd have thunk?
And I can tell, getting service on my Tesla, the price of service has substantially increased. Like when I had issue with my AC a year ago, that was a $3,700 fix. I didn't get it fixed because I thought it went away. That fix went up to $5,500 with just in 1 year. So you're talking about an increased service. So a question for you. Do you think Tesla, and I don't think they will, but let me put this to you. Do you think Tesla is going to go the route of, if you want new features, get a new car like most legacy automakers are? If you want Gronk in your car, you got to buy a new one. If you want this in your car, you got to buy a new one.
My heart says no, but we're kind of already seeing that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They've added new features that you don't get if you have an Intel car. Mm-hmm. They've added, hardware 4 is on a completely different FSD build than hardware 3 is. Hardware 2 just doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, they've already been doing similar things. Now, again, kudos to Tesla. Up until at least now, they have done a really decent job of continuing to support even their oldest cars. Right? Even trying to find ways to add new features, even going all the way back to 2012, 2013, 2014 Model S's, right? That are 10, 11 years old now. But I do wonder if we'll see, if they're making ultimately less money, do we see some of that go away in an effort to get more people to buy, newer Teslas or whatever? But at the same time, how do you do that without alienating the people that are already customers?
Yep.
Who tend to be your most loyal fan base.
Yep.
I don't know. It's hard. It's confusing.
But legacy automakers have been doing it for years. Oh, you want this bigger screen? You got to buy a bigger. Oh, you want this feature in the software? You got to buy a new model. We're not doing OTA updates like that to add features in legacy gas powered vehicles. Now, some legacy EVs will do those updates, everything like that. But for some of them, you got to buy a new car. I mean,
yeah.
So, and I'm wondering if Tesla's thinking, hey, at some point we're going to, kind of like Apple does, at some point they stop updating those old phones. You got a phone that's this model, we're not updating it anymore. So you want to, if you're out there with a 2018 Model 3, guess what? At some point we're going to stop sending updates to it. So, I mean, that's what I think may ultimately come down the line so they can get more of these people into newer vehicles. Because I mean, if you keep updating it, if my software gets the same thing as this brand new Model Y on the screen that we had, there's no need for me to upgrade it. I mean, it's the same software. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's really interesting too to see how these things are going to have to shift. And we've seen precursors to this already, right? As like they phase out 2G cell towers and 3G cell towers, you're seeing cars that were built and using 3G modems or whatever that suddenly, oh, their connected features don't work anymore. It'll be really, really interesting to see how automakers build that into on these newer vehicles that are more and more and more requiring these connected features to operate, right? You know, we're not talking about, oh, I can't use the app to remote start the car anymore. Like looking at Tesla, the entire, you have the whole screen. The whole screen is your map, is whatever. If you suddenly don't have data for whatever reason, then what's that screen doing? It's just showing you a picture of your car
with the speed on it.
like
down your faster going.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like what do you do there? And it's not even, and in the modern computing industry world area, not to get too technical, I'm so sorry, Joel.
You're fine. Get techie all you want.
We're seeing this happen more and more outside of the automotive space where you have older hardware that uses SSL certificates. And as we make more and more advancements in the SSL space, those certificates are expiring or no longer valid or whatever. And it's just bricking the hardware because it suddenly can't talk. And a lot of times it's because the whatever team was that developed that hardware isn't active anymore. They're not actively developing, and then they don't realize it broke until it's broken. And once you break that connection, it's really, really hard to get something back.
My dad just recently, we talk about the software industry. My dad had a printer. He had a Canon printer he's had for like 10 years. He got a new laptop and sorry, software and drivers does not support the old printer. He had to get a new printer. I mean, he can't do anything with it. So it just, we're getting to a point where some of this old tech, you're going to have to upgrade it. And I think we may see that with Tesla, where just some of the stuff just stops working anymore. I mean, Tesla says they're going to, they're going to replace, the hardware that is in the older cars to work with FSD. I don't see them doing that. I mean, I just don't see.
The new thing is they won't do it until it is fully unsupervised.
Which could be 4 or 5 years, and hopefully all those cars may be all off the road by then. So,
and that's what they're hoping.
That's what they're hoping.
Not hopefully, that's probably what they're hoping for. But yeah, it'll just be interesting because like all the SSL stuff and what we've seen that a ton in the smart home industry, right? Things like smart TVs. After 5 years, all the built-in apps tend to stop working because they don't support whatever the new protocol Netflix is using or whatever. And so it'll be interesting to see in the car space where there's been this typical expectation that you can drive a car for pretty much forever if you do maintenance. Right? I have right on the other side of that wall a 1979 Ford F100 that I can go out there, put the key in, turn it, it will start, and I can drive it off. Right? How is that going to play out, 10, 15 years from now? With all of these incredibly smart high-tech cars, not even talking EVs, because we're seeing them do the same smart high-tech stuff in their gas-powered cars. Or whatever. Like, how is this going to play out? Are there just going to be a bunch of junkyards for all these 10, 15-year-old cars? Because XYZ features don't work anymore and people don't want them and no one cares to fix them or can't fix them because you have companies like GM doing encrypted CAN bus to where GM's the only one who can read it. Or your GM dealership that has special tools to read it, etc. But at some point, the thing with encryption is there's keys involved, and so if those keys expire or get lost, and so who knows, man?
Yeah, I mean, I was at
who knows?
I was at visiting my buddy's car dealership. He's the general manager on one of a couple evenings ago, and he showed me on his screen where he can pull up any car on the lot and look at current diagnostics. He knows when a module goes out. He knows when a spark plug is misfiring. On his screen, he sees it all for every car on his lot. You can't do that with your Ford F100 that's parked behind you. So, I mean,
right.
So, yeah, I mean, you're going to get to a point to where it's not the car that's going to make it have to be retired. It's the software that's going to have to make it be retired. So, and I think we're getting to that soon. So,
yeah. All right, Joel. See, we drove one car this weekend.
We did drive a car this weekend. I had to think about that. You know, I'm old. I think about that. We drove a Chevy Bolt, correct?
No.
What was that?
Not this weekend.
Oh, no. That was the used Audi. God, we've been driving some of the cars. That was a 2023 Audi e-tron Sportback.
There you go.
Yes. I've been battling a headache all day. This is a struggle. So yeah, which was completely different than the new Audis we drove. What that range was? What, 220? I think it was. Yeah. It was a low, but it was a nice car. I mean,
it was
a high quality used EV for $40,000, which was a really nice. The range, was crappy,
I mean, a luxury EV that, and so that review comes out Monday. We won't spoil too much about it, but when you hear people who talk about the early e-trons refer to them as bank vaults, they are 100% correct.
It seems like a tank. You were in it, yes.
Yeah, they are 100% correct. That is a perfect description for that vehicle.
There was no rattle in that thing, and it felt like you could run through a wall with that thing.
Yeah. And then after that, Joel put me to work.
I did.
You made me run around, heat index 120-something degrees outside, have me running around in your garage. You did at least keep me watered, which was appreciated.
And I gave you a seat to sit in when you came inside. It was padded.
You did.
It was, and I had a restroom for you. So I mean, you had your bare necessities. So nothing too much. So yeah,
because we put a roof rack on your Model Y.
We did, courtesy of EV Base. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was. It was hot, but it was interesting. Yep.
It was very hot. And then after that, we did. You got a really cool dash cam for your EV6.
I did, which is really cool. I'm excited about that because that's a really nice dash cam from FitCam X that we did an install on my wife's EV6, and we also got a DeWalt charger that we also were able to do a review on that you stole from me from helping me do all these videos. So I currently no longer own it. It's now in the back of Sebastian's Bolt,
and it is still there.
It is still there. So yeah, we got a couple other of these. With this podcast, we get the opportunity or the privilege to review a lot of these accessories that companies have. And we do honest reviews. So if it's crap, we're going to tell you it's crap. Like someone sent us a NACS to CCS adapter and it was crap. I mean, we have a video on it. Watch it. Sebastian did it. It had no safety mechanism on it to disconnect from the car. And we let them know that it was crap and they try to tell us it was not crap. We're like, no, it's crap. We're going to tell them it's crap in our video. So if there's something not good, we'll let you know. We're not going to just gloss over on and tell you all the great things about it. But we got the one of the privileges of having an EV podcast like this is you get little cool things to try out. And we actually did something non-EV. You put a camera in my son's car, which was pretty cool. He was excited.
Did you get the SD card for it?
I did, but I haven't put it in yet.
Oh,
I got it the next day off Amazon. Just haven't been out to his car to put it in yet. It's something that takes 30 seconds to do, and I haven't done it yet. So
that's funny.
Yep.
So you'll see some of those videos randomly trickle out over the next couple weeks. I've got to get them all edited and prettified and whatnot. And Joel, I'm sure you probably have more stuff that's going to be arriving to you shortly.
Oh yeah, we got a little stash coming. So yeah.
And so then there'll be more of those types of videos. And hopefully if you guys like them, you'll watch them. And if you don't like them and you don't watch them, then we'll maybe stop doing it. We'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
All right. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to the EV Geek Podcast on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, we will release our review of the previously mentioned 2023 Audi e-tron Sportback. If you guys have any thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments below because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of the Friday Charge.